What's going on, everyone? We hope you had an amazing but also relaxing weekend as we are set for an electric week in the markets. The Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell is set to cut interest rates this week for the first time since March of 2020. SPY is still very close to all-time highs. Gold prices are surging past its all-time highs, and we are heading into, by far, the most bearish two-week stretch of the year throughout markets history. So with that being said, we have an exciting week ahead of us. In today's video, we're going to cover everything you have to know and some great setups to keep on watch. But besides that, Tom, let's not waste any time and jump right into it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to switch the heat map to show the overall performance from last week because it was overall overwhelmingly positive, right? We saw Nvidia do very well, Microsoft, Amazon, and I know some of the financial stocks didn't quite do the best, but, you know, going back to the SPY from last week and even the gold sector, we just saw a lot of fantastic price action back to the upside pretty much all week long. Monday and Tuesday were choppy, but slowly but surely started getting higher, and then we got that momentum really coming in around the end of the week. We're only a couple points off of the all-time high, Mike, as we have the Federal Reserve having their interest rate cut decision coming out this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So be ready at 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time this Wednesday. It's going to be a major decision, and right now, Mike, everything is actually up in the air. Whenever we read through a bunch of articles and then we go and we actually look at the what the market's pricing in it, what they're going to do at this meeting, it's a 50-50 decision right now.
Exactly. So this is so important because, you know, the Federal Reserve has been kind of pumping the brakes on the economy over the past couple of years because inflation has been so crazy and out of control. But at the same time, they didn't want to pump the brakes too hard to cause a recession. So now they're starting to lower interest rates back down again to have a nice soft landing for the economy. And this is the first interest rate cut again since March of 2020. And like Tom said, what's really up in the air right now is by how much they will cut interest rates by. There is an exact 50-50 shot between a 25 basis point rate cut, which is 0.25%, or 50 basis points. And, you know, we'll see which one it ends up being, but it is, it's not great to see, you know, a 50-50 shot like this because it brings in more uncertainty into the market, but this can be a good thing because uncertainty often, you know, makes for some momentum-driven moves once, like, the market does have a clear idea on the direction the Fed will take. So keep this in mind, and we're going to talk a lot more about this event as we get closer to it, but it is definitely going to be an exciting week, and things are about to start to get exciting, Tom.
Yeah, they definitely are. We are going to have some retail sales coming out Tuesday as well. I don't think that that'll really impact things too much, but obviously, you know, that is something pretty big to keep on the radar ahead of this decision. But Mike, I know that, you know, we've been seeing gold pop up a lot into this decision as well. It's not just the market that's flying up. It's great to see gold flying up at the way it is. I know that we keep looking at what gold does during these times of, I'll say during the times the Fed starts to cut rates and even kind of heading into the rate cuts, right? Kind of like what we've been seeing lately. Gold is kind of running higher as people are pricing in these rate cuts starting to happen.
Exactly. And when you look at the chart, when you look at the blue line and the yellow line, every time the blue line starts to come down, which is, you know, the Federal Reserve actually cutting interest rates, you can see that gold has benefited from that quite a bit for multiple reasons. But, you know, gold is, you know, actively running in a strong way. And for those who've been following the channel for some time now, know that we've been pretty early to this move. So it's great to see gold continuing to march higher, but still make sure to keep it close on your radar because gold is one of those areas of the market that, you know, when it trends in a pretty strong way, and it can last for months and to even like years at a time in some cases. You know, gold prices at record highs is not just like one sort of like individual stock in the market. Like gold is, you know, like something that everyone around the world is involved in, mostly in some way or another, and it has a lot to do with central banks and everything else like that. So one nice, easy way to follow gold is ticker symbol GLD. So definitely keep it on watch, and we are going to talk about this one more as well as we get deeper into the video, because we have some nice setups with it. So keep that in mind. But while we're on the topic of, let's say, gold and cuts and interest rate decisions and everything like that, it's worth noting that this week isn't important just for the United States, I guess you could say Federal Reserve or, central bank, but actually central banks all around the world. We could see on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there's going to be a lot of central bank action in some key countries. Like, of course, you have the Bank of England, but you also have China, Japan, Taiwan, and a handful of other countries. So, this just makes for an even, more momentum-driven and powerful week.
Yeah, it definitely does. Whenever you have this many central banks, reporting all at one time, that's a big decision. Obviously, I know the United States is obviously probably the most influential one, we'll say, but, China is a big deal too. So, keep that in mind. You might want to watch stocks like BABA, maybe other stocks like JD and others as we progress through the week. And as China starts to report as well, Mike, I know that these stocks have been pretty shaky over the past couple days, but I will say they've been uptrending pretty well over the past few months, and they've been coming up off of lows pretty well here over the past few months. Actually, if we look at the percentage gain on BABA from the recent low to the recent high, it's around 19%, which is pretty good for just a couple months.
No doubt. So yeah, definitely keep a close eye on this stock for the week. And then as we look at, let's just say market sentiment and the market as a whole, like you said, Tom, the market is, it's been doing pretty well, especially over the past week, but we're now heading into that time of the month where things, historically speaking, tend to get pretty rough. As we can see on this chart here, the second half of September is normally very bad. It is the worst 2-week period for the market throughout the entire year, and we can see a day-by-day breakdown. So understand that as we get closer to the end of the month, it normally does tend to be pretty bad, but at the same time, if Jerome Powell can work his magic and do what he does best and make a nice soft landing for the market and the economy, then that can overpower just a historical bearish average like this. But we definitely wanted to present this and remind everyone because it's that time of the year.
Yeah, it definitely is, Mike. We've seen a lot of this, a lot of negativity surrounding September already, right? I know that now the SPY has came back quite a bit, but, at the beginning of September here, there was a lot of fear that crept into the market right around key resistance, around that all-time high of 565. And where are we again? Literally right at that all-time high. We're only $2 away now. SPY hit 563 on Friday, so that was a pretty big resistance too, around 563. So we'll have to be keeping that on watch, but it's definitely going to be a big deal this week. It's all happening right as the SPY is even at a key level, Mike. It's not only do we have the central bank this week, we also have the seasonality and we have this all-time high coming into play. So, it's like everything's lining up perfectly here for a pretty big move this week, Mike. Hopefully, we don't see a lot of chop, right? I just want to see a nice directional move. Like if we see a good breakout, bam, let's trade the direction. Let's become bullish and let's ride that wave through the all-time high. But who knows? If something negative happens, we might have to play that rejection.
Yeah, you got to be willing to adapt. That's a key trait of, being a successful trader. So definitely keep that in mind. But while we're on SPY right now, Tom, what would you say, more specifically, are some key levels in both directions to be aware of?
Yeah, so 563 is going to be huge for tomorrow. If we're able to break above 563 with the SPY and it gets up to 565, that'll be the next major resistance, which is right around the all-time high, which is just slightly above 565. So just watch those two levels overhead. If we break 565, we're in the new territory, right? At that point, I'll probably be looking for 570 overhead. But if we do end up seeing a rejection here and a bigger breakdown, 560 coming up first will will be a pretty major area of support. After that, I really do like 557 and then 555 down below. There are a lot more levels, of course, but we can't spend an hour going over every one.
Another thing I was looking at when we look at SPY, I guess you could say zoomed out a little bit more, maybe on a daily, maybe on an hourly, you could see that it has been in the process of making lower highs. Its initial high was on like July 16th, and then it made a slightly lower high towards the end of August, and now we're in the process of, potentially making a third lower high. If that does end up playing out and we do see a rejection here, that would be a pretty bearish sign for the market, as it shows that the, buying pressure is not only weakening, but we have sellers, heavily defending these levels. So with that being said, if we do see a, I guess you could say, rejection here, that will not be a good sign for the market. At the same time, if we see, good enough news and good enough bullish momentum where we can, break this lower high pattern and potentially even break, the all-time highs, which really aren't even that far away anymore, then it would be, important to, pivot in a bullish sense. But either way, I wanted to point this out because this is a key level to keep on mind, and it's crazy how close SPY is back to its all-time high, because just about a week ago, it was looking pretty rough.
Yeah, it definitely was. There was a lot of people a week ago, Mike, calling for a potential recession, right? And now we're all the way back up and people are quiet again now with the recession talks, I see. But, I know a lot of that's the media trying to push all their bull crap on everybody. But nonetheless, I do like that resistance a lot, Mike. I'm glad that we went back and looked at it on a longer time frame. But yeah, for the intraday action tomorrow, if we break 563, I mean, that all-time high is not far off, right? We've had moves the past couple weeks that would, we'd be well above 565 if we kept up with some of this great momentum like we had on Wednesday, for example.
No doubt. And then we did want to cover this as well. The earnings lineup for the week is basically a ghost town, but here's the list. Realistically, I would say Thursday is really like the only important day in this sense, with I would say FedEx and then LEN set to report, but it's a pretty boring week on this side of things. So with that being said, let's get right into some setups and predictions. A stock that is still on my radar is GLD. We've been talking about this one nonstop, and we were super early to last week's breakout past all-time highs, so that's awesome. But GLD is one of those I guess you could say stocks, it follows gold prices, that just moves in a pretty strong trending way. What's worth noting is that GLD moves in a way that is different from something like Nvidia or Tesla or Apple or some other tech-related stock. Like, this follows the price of gold, so you're not going to see this pop up or down by 10% in any one day, but it will move in a slower, more consistent way. And especially as the, I guess you could say, different economies around the world, different countries around the world are making key central bank decisions this week, like the United States, but also China, Japan, United Kingdom. There's a lot of action, and gold is tied to that. So GLD is definitely still on my bullish radar, but to be honest, I would not be all of that surprised if we did see a slight pullback, given how much it is up over the past couple of days. But it's definitely still on my bullish radar.
Yeah, it's awesome to see it breaking out above that range it was in. We've just seen gold continually break out above these little ranges that it gets in on this march forward here. I love the price action, Mike. I'll definitely keep it on the radar for this week. And another stock that's done pretty good in the short term is Palantir. Again, on Friday, they continued up in a pretty good way. I'm going to keep watching this stock to the upside. If they're able to break above the high right around $36, that would be a great level to watch for a potential breakout. 36 is a nice whole dollar level, plus it's the high of day Friday, so you can tell there was a lot of sellers stacked up there. But yeah, it'd be nice to see Palantir continue. We go out to a daily chart. Again, this is another one that it's not like gold, right? It's not as slow and consistent. I would say it's more volatile, but at the end of the day, it's on one hell of an uptrend here.
No doubt. All right. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is CVS, and it is to the upside. There was a recent big money trade with this one that has been working pretty well. CVS is also in the process of bouncing off the $56 support area, and it has been moving in a pretty good way. CVS is one of those stocks that kind of does whatever it wants. It doesn't really move too much with the overall market, which I like, especially for a week like this one. So with that being said, CVS is on my bullish radar.
Yeah, I love it, Mike. I love that support. The big money play is doing really well, actually, from September 11th, whenever that was called out. So that'll be a one to keep on watch for sure. That was one of my favorite big money plays as of late. With my next play, I'm looking at Microsoft. I'm actually looking at this one, Mike, in a bit of a different way here. I know that there's a lot of bullishness in the market lately, but Microsoft is actually running into a key, and I mean key resistance here, right around 430 to 432. More specifically, 432 has seen a lot of crucial bounces here. And also, whenever we go to the Bookmap, 432 was pretty much the high of day Friday, right where Microsoft rejected, and you can just see that there's a lot of sellers stacked there. There's also a lot at 433, and I did notice some at 435 overhead, but just keep in mind, 433 is a major resistance. So I'm going to really be watching Microsoft this week. If we see a nice rejection back down, that's where the opportunity is going to be for me. If we see a nice breakout, sure, you can maybe adapt to the upside, but I might look at some other stocks if we do see the market have that type of good momentum breakout like that.
Sounds good, and I'm definitely a fan of your setup, Tom, so it'll be on my radar as well. But besides that, let's jump right into today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have CCL to the upside.
Yeah, Carnival Cruise Lines has done very well in the short term. If they're able to break above that, I would say the intraday resistance right around 1735, then watch them to the upside. I do like that high of day as well, up around 1750 if you wanted to be a little bit safer, but I do like 1735 as well.
All right, with the next one, we have Boeing to the downside.
Poor Boeing here, Mike. Just a lot of bearish price action in the short term. If they're able to break below 155, then keep watching them to the downside.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Enphase for both directions.
Enphase is pretty crazy right now. You know, they're having some pretty good moves to the upside, but they're at some pretty major resistance. If they're able to break above 110 right here, then go ahead and watch them up. But if they re-break back below 106, then you have to watch them back down.
Sounds good. So we have the downside level for a potential move lower. We have the upside level for a potential move higher. This is for Enphase. Don't forget about the downside level with Boeing, and then the upside level with CCL. Either way, these three stocks are on watch for potential day trades tomorrow if and only if they break through the levels Tom listed. We were looking for strong, consistent, momentum-driven price action here. If the stocks are just if they're not moving like that, then don't force the setups. But assuming they break the levels in a strong way and they're just moving in a momentum-driven way, that is where the opportunity comes into play. So keep these stocks on watch as well. But besides that, let's jump right into today's $3.2 million big money trade, and we are looking at ticker symbol GDX. So for those of you who don't know, GDX basically is a bunch of gold mining companies all under one ticker symbol. And as you can imagine, with gold prices not only at record highs, but continuously making new record highs, that certainly helps the companies that mine gold. Yet essentially on Friday, the big money put $3.2 million into a bullish call play with GDX, looking to, profit off of a potential move higher with this. This is going to sound complicated, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down nice and simply. Essentially, they bought the 40 straight call options and then shorted the 45 straight call options, both of which expire on November 15th of 2024. Essentially, they want GDX to go up and their maximum profit will be achieved once the stock gets to 45. At the same time, they will this trade will be profitable as long as GDX is greater than $41.60 by November 15th. This is technically called a call debit spread, but if you don't know how to trade spreads, or even if you do, but you want to make your life nice and easy and you don't want to have to deal with this, if you trade the 40 strike call option for November 15th of 2024, it will be an extremely similar trade and it'll be a lot easier, and It's just easier. And it also has, you don't have a max, I guess you could say, reward in the event this truly explodes. But either way, the big money is bullish on GDX. And, I definitely can't blame them with the way gold prices have been moving. And, given that we have rate cuts on the lineup.
Yeah, definitely, Mike. Looking at GDX in the short term, that's an awesome big money play. $3.2 million. That's amazing. I'm sure a lot of people are going to probably say, hey, isn't GDX a little bit overextended in the short term? And I would probably agree, but just realize this, gold has actually been consolidating quite a bit here, especially GDX, right around these recent highs of 40. If we see a solid breakout, there could be some great extensions. Going back to GDX in history, Mike, there has been some insane bullish runs out of GDX in the past. Now, I know that this was around the times of COVID, but still, some of the runs that GDX goes on are insane. So just keep that in mind, guys. I don't think it's personally the top yet. I love this big money play. I do like the 40 strike calls you mentioned, Mike. That would make it a lot easier, I'm sure, for many traders out there who don't know how to trade spreads. But hey, if you are interested, hop in the Discord sometime and let us know. We can help you out with that. But I like the amount of money too. It's not every day we get a $3.2 million big money play.
Exactly. So definitely keep this one on your radar going forward. But quick side note, if you guys are new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, consider obliterating the subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. In every single video, we cover the most important news, information, events, charts you wouldn't have seen anywhere else, big money plays, and just everything you have to know in like 20 to 25 minutes or less. And if you subscribe, you'll get our videos recommended to you more often. But guys, we are heading into a very crucial time of the year and a very exciting next couple of weeks. The market's right at all-time highs. Rate cuts are on the schedule. Gold prices are climbing past all-time highs every day. And we're heading into the most bearish 2-week stretch of the entire year. So things are about to get pretty exciting. Let's make sure to trade in a smart, disciplined, long-term oriented way. Make sure not to just force trades just because you're bored. Make sure if you're placing a trade, make sure you have the setup lined up and you know exactly why you're placing that trade. For every trade that's placed, you should have a stop loss and you should make sure to respect that stop loss as the trade progresses, because, managing the losing plays is, one of the most important things for, longer term, I guess you could say just, long-term trading, right? You have to be able to manage those losers and keep them, as small as possible. At the same time, it's always smart to follow the money and let the market work for you rather than trying to fight against the current, you can say. So either way, let's have a great week ahead, but we also have to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day. I am Serve in the StockedUp trading floor. He's been crushing it, and he had just amazing words to say on Friday. You guys can read them on the screen right here, but thank you so much, Serve, for all the kind words, and keep on crushing it. We love to see posts like this one, and I have a good feeling that things are about to get pretty exciting over these next couple of weeks and months, especially with the market. The election's getting closer as well. So thank you for everything, Serve, and huge shout out to you. If you guys are into short-term trading, definitely check out the StockedUp trading floor. Basically, you get access to everything you can need for short-term trading, including our custom bots, weekly live events. You could chat with Town and myself all day long, access the big money plays on the same day the trades are made, which oftentimes makes for better entry prices. And again, it's the spot to be for short-term trading. So if you want in, it'll be that first link in the description and the comments down below. Besides that, thank you all so much for watching, and let's have an amazing week.